and welcome back to Sketch by Sketch. I am very excited to be doing this video today. I'm drawing the first page in my new Illo sketchbook. At this point, it's not really new anymore. I've drawn a few pages, but I left the first page because I was too scared to actually do it. If you watched my last video, you saw me draw on the cover of the sketchbook with some acrylic paint. I'll try to link that down below because if you haven't seen it, that was a really fun video and you should definitely go watch it. But to start out this drawing, I watched a lot of YouTube videos of first pages and Pinterest references of just some cool drawings that I could do, and I decided that I wanted to actually do a full illustration this time instead of just like a sketch or not really putting much time into it. Like I've done in the last few sketchbooks, I really wanted to take my time on this and use Copic markers, even make a background, stuff that I usually don't do. So to get started here, you can see I started kind of drawing the face. I did speed this up a little bit because the video was going to be way too long. It's already pretty long, but so it's sped up just a little bit, but hopefully you can still see what I'm doing. But I am using a Prismacolor Kohl Erase Color pencil in a pink shade. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but I prefer the pink over the blue or even just the red one, just because when you're planning on using markers or even colored pencils, really any medium over top of it, and you're drawing skin, it seems to kind of just go with it a little bit more, and you won't have to make sure you erase every little bit of it. If I draw too dark on one spot, I can still go with it and put the markers over it without it looking too out of place. I'm also using a kneaded eraser for when I make mistakes or need to erase something. I love my kneaded eraser so much. It just is so much easier to use than a regular eraser that would come on the end of your pencil, just because of the fact that it doesn't make a mess and I don't have to clean up my whole desk after I've done a drawing because of the eraser shaving. So it's just really convenient, and I find it actually erases a little bit better and really just pulls that pigment off the page. Here I'm just trying to really take my time and sketch this out and keep it light and build the color up, and not go too dark too fast, because I tend to do that and then that kind of ruins my sketch. It just doesn't look good. You can't erase anything, your lines look stiff, you don't look flowy, and so I just really am trying to work on that in the sketchbook and really improve on my art. So yeah, and that really helps with using these kinds of pencils. They're not too dark, so you can still erase and just work the color up to make it dark. One thing, I tend to think that I'm getting really good at drawing a certain feature or something like that, and I really work on it and I love it, and then all of a sudden I can't draw that anymore. Like noses right now, I'm having a lot of trouble just because your style changes and you're improving, but sometimes it's hard to transition into your new style or improve on that certain feature once you realize that you need to. So definitely been trying to work on the actual features a little bit more and try to work on my style and get it to where I want it to be. Also eyes, I've been trying to make sure there's the correct size and they're spaced out the right way, and they don't look too bad, because in digital art I'm able to flip the canvas and really see what I've done wrong and fix things, but you can't really do that with traditional art. So lately what I've been doing is just taking a picture of the drawing halfway through and then flipping it horizontally, flipping it over itself, and then I can see from the picture, oh, this eye's too big, this eye's too small, whatever, and then I can fix it from there and then take another picture and just see what we look like. So that's typically how I do that with traditional art. It does not work as well, but it still gives me that idea of what I'm doing wrong and what I need to fix. if any of you watch Drawing with Waffles, at this point, this drawing may be looking a little familiar to you. And that is because I was watching her video while I was drawing this, of her drawing on her first page in her sketchbook, and I thought it was so cute that I kind of had to recreate it. It does not end up looking the same at all, definitely in my style, but it definitely almost looks like the same character. And I tried to make it not, but I just loved it so much, and it was so cute that I was really trying to capture the feel of that character and put it on the page. So I do have to give her some credit for that. I love her artwork, and if you're not watching her, then you really need to, because she's great and she's really fun to just put on while you're drawing, and she's really inspirational. One thing you may have noticed me doing earlier is grabbing my sketchbook and tipping it up to try to look at it. This is because I tend to draw flat on the surface, and then you're sitting in the chair, so you're looking at it at kind of an angle when you're drawing it. Now my camera is looking at it from above, so if I look in the viewfinder, that kind of helps me, but not everyone does that, so you kind of have to tip up your drawing and look at it from a straight on angle to make sure that you are not elongating the neck or making the face too big or just making the features not right, because it definitely can look right when it's laying on the table, but when you tip it up, it just looks a little bit wrong. So just make sure you're doing that while you're drawing, just every now and then. Just make sure everything's still looking good. One thing with my characters, I have a really hard time coming up with outfit ideas. I tend to draw the basic t-shirt and jeans all the time. I don't know why I do that, because I love looking at outfits on Pinterest, and I just really like cool clothing and outfits and all that stuff, but I tend for my characters not to draw that. So with this, I kind of added a little bit of a different outfit than I've done. Still pretty basic, but I think it's cute. Here I'm just going in and adding a background. I'm doing hearts because if you watched my acrylic drawing on the cover video, then you will know that I did hearts all over the cover of it. And so I'm trying to keep with the theme and draw the hearts on the inside as well. One thing I would like to mention is I am going to be working on getting a better camera setup. I'm probably still going to be recording, with my iPad, just because I don't have a way to buy an expensive camera right now, and that's not really any plans in the future to even buy a camera. I want to continue to use my iPad, but I feel like my lighting situation, the actual camera setup is just not working, and I really want my videos to be a little bit higher quality, because I've noticed my Illo Sketchbook videos getting more views, but then I'm also getting some dislikes, which I'm thinking that may be coming from my filming quality and maybe my audio quality. I feel like it sounds pretty good, but I am going to work on trying to set up my camera a little different and get some lighting situation going a little bit better so that my videos can be a little higher quality. And hopefully I can edit a little bit more. I typically don't have time to just sit down and edit for 5-6 hours like some people do, but I want to make higher quality and longer videos, not as many of them, but definitely more high quality, so you guys can really enjoy them and them be good videos that you want to sit down and watch. Okay, while I was talking, you can see that I got started on the line art process. This is my least favorite part, just because it's like going over the lines that you already made, and it's really nerve-wracking at the same time. So it's just kind of hard for me to do without smudging it, and just all the different things that come with doing the line art. So I really don't like doing it, but you have to do it, so I'm just kind of getting through it, taking my time, making sure I don't mess it up. I'm using Copic fine liners just because I'm planning on using Copic markers to color this, and I want to make sure I don't smudge anything, even though in the end the markers ended up smudging, even though I left them for like 5 hours. But anyways, we'll get onto that later. really been wanting to work on how I do the line art and it to be a little bit better, add some texture, you know what I mean, just like not just like straight lines and flat lines, I guess you could say, adding thicker lines and thinner lines and stuff like that. And I'm sorry the video keeps glitching out. I really don't know why it's doing that. I don't know if you guys can see it doing that, but definitely while I am recording this and watching the video, it keeps glitching in and out. So I'm not really sure why it's doing that. So if you see that, then just please bear with it. I don't know what happened to the video. One thing I'm really wanting to start on my channel is I want to do the 100 heads drawing challenge in 10 days because I feel like this sketchbook that I'm working on right now, that I'm doing the first page on, at the moment, because I recorded this a long time ago, I'm about halfway through the sketchbook, and for some reason I really don't like any of the pages. Like there's maybe like one drawing on every page that I maybe like, but the other ones all around it just seem like I haven't taken my time like I did in other sketchbooks, or I didn't like care as much for some reason, and I'm not really sure why, but I just really want to work on making my art style better and getting back to where I like my art, and it's a little more interesting and creative rather than just a person standing there or a straight view face or just something like that. I've also been trying to work on profile view faces, which is really hard to draw actually. I didn't realize how hard it could be to draw that, but it really is. But I feel like I've gotten better at it. I've made a method of how I like to do that. If you guys want to see that, just like this video, and maybe if I remember, I will put a poll up in the corner. You guys can tell me if you would like that. I haven't really done any tutorials on my channel. I don't even know. I just kind of draw on this channel, and I really want to do some tutorials, but I really don't feel extremely qualified to do it just because I like my art and I love my style, but I feel like I don't know my method enough to be able to teach it to someone else. But if you guys want to see that, then just let me know, I guess, and I can work on getting a tutorial out there. But yeah, just let me know. If you're wondering why I have this random sheet of paper here, I am using it to make sure I don't smudge the line art because I'm using thicker lines and the paper is a little bit wet for a few seconds. So I'm just making sure that I don't smudge anything because I've worked so hard on this and I don't want to have to redo it because you only can do the first page once. So just a little bit of precaution there. That's a really good thing to do. Take a scrap piece of paper, put it over your hand, and you'll get no smudges. I never really draw hair too detailed or anything. I'm just using some smaller lines to make the hairline so I don't have to draw just like a straight line and make a really harsh hairline. That just kind of makes it not realistic, but just gives it a little bit of texture and looks a little bit more appealing. And then I just draw the basic outline shape of the hair and then add in a few extra lines for the detailing in actual sections of hair. This also gives me a guideline of where to shade and add the darker sections. I really like drawing big, like chunky, thick hair. Usually curly. I typically don't draw like straight hair. And I just take lines from the top and then some lines come from the bottom and kind of connect in the middle and just make some big, thick, luscious hair. And then whenever I add in the coloring, it just kind of adds to the depth of it. And I'm doing the same over here on this side. Here we're about to finish the line art. I thought I would mention that I'm using a 0.1 size pen, and I'm using it to do all the line art. I didn't switch pens or anything. I'm using the same size just going over lines and using the side for some of those thinner lines, just so I didn't have to switch pens and it all just kind of looked the same, even though there were some thicker and thinner lines. Okay, now all we have to do is do some finishing touches on the line art, just some different little things that it needs, different little details. I usually try to put all this in at once, but after I'm done with the line art, I usually look over it a little bit and see what I want to do. Okay, here we are. I'm going to go ahead and paint in that background while I'm waiting on that line art to dry. I did the cover in acrylic paint in these exact colors, so I thought that I would test out the acrylic paint on the Illo sketchbook. I know people have done it before, I've just never personally done it, so I just did something simple and did the hearts. I realized that you need a lot of paint to do this, like it took a lot of paint, but it didn't like eat the paper up or go to the other side or anything. It works really nicely on the paper and it's like really blendable. So I was super happy with the results of that. I did do a double coat of paint to just kind of try to clean up those edges and make it look really opaque and look good. So I'm just going over that one more time. Even though it was thick enough the first time, I just wanted to make sure it was really opaque and bright. And again, like I said, it doesn't eat through the paper, it just works really well. I don't know about adding like lots and lots of layers, but hopefully we can try that out sometime soon and see if it actually works. So if you guys would like to see that, let me know. And also, don't ask why I'm using the back of my hand as a paint palette. I'm not really sure why I'm doing that. I needed to clean my brush off and didn't have any paper towels. And so I was using the back of my hand, and that is also paint remover in that little container right there. And that is what I'm using to try to clean my brush off without getting up and actually cleaning it. I should have just went and washed it. But yeah, paint remover, probably shouldn't be putting that on the back of my hand as well. But anyways, that's how I clean my brushes. If you would like a full detailed tutorial of that, let me know. Okay, so here we are. We're finally getting to the coloring process. I've got it zoomed in a little bit. Line art's dry. The paint is dry. We have all of our Copic markers and our Blick markers out. We are ready to color. I'm using the kneaded eraser again to go in and make sure all of those pink lines are kind of erased. A lot of times I let those show through, but today I really didn't want to. So I'm just making sure, really clean line art drawing. Alright, so I have, you can't see it on the camera, but I have my Copic color chart, and I am going through and testing out my colors. And right here I'm looking for this paper that I put behind my drawings, couldn't find it, but make sure you have something behind there, or it will go to the other side and ruin whatever drawing is under there. So I always just make sure that I leave the back page with nothing on it, and I put a piece of paper in between the two. So I believe I have a Copic coloring guide out there on how I color, but I've updated a little bit since, so let's turn this into a little mini tutorial. I start in with a light pink shade, and I just go in where it's going to be rosy or shadowed, and I just put that wherever that is, really lightly. And then I go in with, again, a really light skin tone. This is probably E000, something like that. I can't really see what color it is exactly, but just go in and color the whole thing. And there is where it messed up. The line art was seriously dry. Like, I left it for hours, but somehow I still smudged that. I can't believe it. But anyway, so that's that. In the end, I end up kind of fixing it enough to where it doesn't look that bad. But continuing on, just coloring the whole thing with that really light color. I'm also doing just a really light skin tone, so if you are doing a darker skin tone, I would start out with a little bit darker, but still we want to keep it really light at the beginning. Alright, now I'm going in with E00, I'm pretty sure, and I'm not going over the whole face this time, but I'm just really covering those darker areas of the face, just leaving a little bit for highlighting, and just filling in the area and making the shade a little bit richer. You should still be able to see a little bit of that rosy tone poking through. It won't be extremely visible by the end of it, but you'll still be able to see it for sure. So just, if you need to add more of that pink shade, just add it in after every layer or so. Now, I do believe this color is Eggshell. Again, don't hold me to it, but this is how I color. I just go from lightest to darkest, and I just shade where I feel it to be necessary. So that's what I'm doing now, and that's what I'm going to keep doing with the rest of the colors. I typically start coloring the face first. I'm not really sure why. I never color like the hair first or anything like that. I usually just go with the face, because if I mess up the face and it looks really bad, I don't feel the need to use my marker ink and the time and effort to finish like the hair when the face is messed up and there's really no reason to even finish the illustration. So if the face looks good, then I continue on with the rest of the drawing. Okay, now we're going in with a blush tone and making her cheeks very rosy. I'd like to add some on the nose too, on the bridge of the nose and the chin and eyelids. A little bit on the shoulders, just everywhere there would be a little bit of that rosy tone. Neck. Use this a little bit as shading. If your character doesn't have a lot of blush or rosy tones, then you don't add it. You just need to pick whatever your character is going to look like. Again, more blush. This is a little darker shade. One thing that I found that I've been doing recently is I've added a little bit of the blush like under the lips, and I think it just looks so cute, and I'm not really sure why I haven't done that before, but I just think it looks so adorable and I love it. Here's the part of the drawing where I think it looks a little rough, and it always does at this point when I am drawing. When I add in this color, E11 I do believe it is. Everything looks not blended. It looks like the colors don't match, and it just looks a little bit like a mess. But how I color is I go, like I said, lightest to darkest, and then I work my way backwards, bringing back in all those lighter shades over top, so it all blends together and it all looks good. So we haven't made it there yet, so it's gonna look a little patchy right now. I first started buying my Copics in sets, the little 6-packs and the 3-packs. So that's how I got a lot of my colors, and I just use them in the packs that they came in mostly, just because they're selected to blend together well and they go together well. But sometimes I do, of course, pick my own colors and kind of put them together. But if you're a beginner, I do recommend getting those sets and just using those colors together in the order, just so that you know they're going to blend well together. Here I added in some cute freckles on her cheeks, nose, and shoulders. It's a lot of freckles. Probably shouldn't have done that much, but I really like the way that turned out. I think it's super cute. Also gave her a little bit more eyeliner because her face looked pretty simple, and did some eyebrows. Forgot to color her ears, so we're just going to do that really quickly. Again, you can add some blush to the ears too. I think it looks really cute. And this is where I started to do the hair. I wanted her to be blonde, and then I used this color, and it was more of this like electric yellow color, and I was like, oh, that's not really blonde. It looks like she colored her hair yellow. So I was like, okay, what can we do with this? I mean, I don't really want to go back now and muddy up the colors. So I decided to just kind of go with it. I took an even brighter yellow and blended those together and made it a little bit of a gradient. Thought it was super cute at this point. And I even considered leaving the tips white, but because of the white background, I just didn't really think that it was gonna look right. Here we go. I'm adding some more darker yellow. So here in a minute, I'm gonna add some pink gradient to the bottom. Really just like blend it together. It looks so cute. I really like these yellow colors together. Again, they came in a pack and they are really blendable and they work well together. So I really like them. This is also the colors I used in my Rapunzel drawing. I believe I did take it off the channel, but it would still be in my art tour. But yeah, I use this color every time I draw Rapunzel. Okay, here we are using that really light pink. We use this to do the blush, so it's kind of tying everything in together. And so the color scheme looks really nice. I did leave a little white in between the two colors, just to give it that brightness and that really cute effect of the gradient, just so it didn't look too harsh when blended together. Her hair really reminded me of summer, like pink lemonade for some reason. It's just so cute and I love it so much. Now just going in with a little bit of that darker color just to give the tips a little bit darker shade. Again, my style is very cartoony. I don't really do realism, so that's why the hair kind of looks like that, but I think it's cute. I love the style that I did the hair in this time. So yeah. I decided to go with a contrasting color for her outfit, and I went with this like really bright purple color. I think it's cute. I think it goes with the hair, but kind of not at the same time, so that's why I liked it. So everything was all the way matching, but it was like a cohesive color scheme. That's what you should try to do with your drawings. Try to get colors that work well together, but don't match completely, because then you won't have any interest in your drawing. It's going to be pretty plain and boring. Now, I don't know why I'm saying this, because I'm the person that usually always does that. But when I'm doing an illustration like this, I really try to keep up with the contrast in colors and keep it interesting. Now I forgot to do the lips, and when I first added this color, I honestly was scared. I didn't like the way it took the character, made her look a little harsher, less fun, but I added some other pinks over top of it, and it kind of brought it all together and made her look like the cute, fun character that she was before. Now I'm going in and adding some stripes to her shirt, or jumper, whatever you want to call it. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I think that is really cute too. I would love to wear this top. I think it is so adorable, and I love the color. Also added some hearts to keep with the theme of the background. And a little heart on her cheek. Sorry if my voice keeps going out. I've been sick for the past few days and my throat is a little bit weird, so that's why my voice might sound a little bit different. Here we are, we're nearing the end And we're going to my favorites, Posca pens. I love these because you can draw on top of almost everything and it's still like really opaque. I did have to open these because they're new. I got them for Christmas, hadn't used them yet. And again, using the back of my hand for some reason to make this thing work. And yeah, so I just wrote sketchbook number 2 on the inside. I have really bad handwriting, I just realized. I tried, but yeah, sketchbook number 2, super cute, matches the inside, and I did do a little like line around the heart. It's kind of generic, but it's cute. Now that I look back at it, it looks a little messy, but I love the overall illustration. I think it's adorable. And I've never really drawn anything like this, and I really love it. Well, here's the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!